You guys asked for it. We've got it. The amazing John Kurtz is here to talk about portal halls, West Virginia, Oklahoma State. One's killing it, one's starting to kill it. But who's doing better? Well, John Kurtz is going to tell us about it right now.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host here. Welcome back into Locked On West Virginia, baby, and Locked On Oklahoma State. We're doing another dual show here. Thank you guys so much for joining in as we dive straight into the action again. Going to be brought to you by our friends at Rougiette. Right now with Rougiette, guys, if you don't know, now you know. Rougiette's killing it in the game right now. You got to be a part of it. If you're thinking about taking that next step, now's the time. Head to Rougiette.com/LockedOnCollege, where you can get 15% off your order for a limited time with Rougiette Ready. Feel present, feel confident, and feel ready. All right, guys, we are not alone. As I said before, this is a guy I've known for a few years now and somebody I have a ton of respect for. He's built one of the best Big 12 audiences in all of college football over on YouTube. My friend John Kurtz, man. What is up, brother?
Well, what's going on, Paul? How are you, man?
Can you imagine me, the Oklahoma State guy?
Hey, man, I think you can rock it just as well as anybody else, my friend. I'm excited for you.
Hey, thanks, man. Just placeholder till my buddy Cody gets back, hopefully, dealing with some major health issues. So we're just trying to make sure they get content up however we do so. So, I thought this is my second dual squad show of the day. That way I can get one up on each show. So it's pretty cool. But starting with Oklahoma State, I think, obviously, I don't think anybody saw this coming. Drew Mestemaker and $7 million is incredible. And, I've kind of gotten tied in with some of their folks now and hearing from them, let them tell it. Unfortunately, Cody said he would rather be stabbed in the throat than talk to a donor. And I think that checks out because they've got this new donor on board, writing checks left and right. Not only did they get the number one quarterback, but they got the number one running back. They've got one of the best receivers. They decided Texas Tech corner. They've got visits lined up at the Wazoo 18. This legitimately feels like, John, you look at 8 of the guys they brought in are rated 90 or higher on three. These are 4-star guys. Do you think this is potentially a Cignetti type situation for them?
Well, I think it's dangerous to go that far. But, first of all, I would say I'm thrilled for Oklahoma State fans. For what you guys have had to endure over the last couple of years. This is there's not a more deserving fan base out there right now of getting this sort of influx because, I think big picture, you're talking about not just the talent that you're bringing in, but when you bring in double-digit players from that North Texas roster, like you're going to be putting them with most of the same coaches that they had last year, right? So that gives you a chance to really take off and hit the ground running, which is incredibly exciting because, you have there's so much variance in what can happen when you have this much of the roster that's having to be replaced and you're going through a coaching change and all of this is still sort of uncharted waters. Like we've never really seen these. Like Iowa State, like their entire front line going to Penn State. And now here, North Texas, the entire front line coming to Oklahoma State. It's a very unique new situation. But to me, it spells out like that you've got the chance to totally hit the ground running because if you brought in a bunch of new guys and they were really talented, that's one thing. But if it's new coaches, totally new coaching staff, and then it's new guys, there's so much that has to gel together. It's a lot less that has to gel together here. Like these players have played with each other. They've played with the coaches. They've been coached by these guys. That's going to help immensely. So I commend Oklahoma State for getting its act together in terms of NIL, getting its act together in terms of the hiring process, and bringing in a guy like Eric Morris here that I would have to imagine that was a part of the conversation when he's being hired. Like, hey, I think we could pull off sort of just a line change in and out here to make this thing go. And obviously you've got high-end talent too. Drew Mestemaker would have been one of the most coveted, if not the most coveted quarterback in the portal had he not gone to Oklahoma State, and that financial commitment, that number coming out. I even saw the Tulsa World had it up at like $7.5 million, more like 3.75 a year. So I don't know, if it's 7 or 7.5. Either way, Oklahoma State's paying pretty darn good money there. At the same time, it's weird.
Damian Mensah money, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was going to say, actually, based on the market and based on where Maker is, it's almost a bit of a discount. I'm kind of like, Oklahoma State got a decent deal here with where it's going, because some of these guys, I know of some, at least another Big 12 starter that's proven in the Big 12 that's making about this same amount. We know that Brendan Sorsby is making $5 million at Texas,
right?
Reported number that's out there. I think On Three's Pete Nakos put that out there first. So this is a guy that was right in the same caliber as, although Sam Levitt, I mean, we'll see what it winds up being, but at one point people were saying $6 or $7 million. I don't know if it's going to get to quite that, but I mean, if that's the case, even a pretty reasonable discount here with Maker, which you probably can when you have the head coach there. So yeah, pulling off Hawkins and Wyatt Young, like that trio, I mean, I can't wait to see that offense go. It's going to be a total 180, I think, from what Oklahoma State was dealing with last
year. Yeah, and that's not including, former top 50 in-state prospect. They got Miles Coleman to come in. They got Terrence Lewis to come in. And then they got the offensive line trio of Braden Nelson, Desmond Mahia, and Johnny Dixon. 3 offensive linemen that are all graded highly in the transfer. Had they went to, they would all be Power 4 players had they went other places. So, they were what a loaded roster North Texas had. You don't win that many games if you don't. And then Ethan, I just covered this one earlier. Ethan Wislowski, a guy that's got close to 200 tackles the last couple of years there. They got a kid out of UConn named Ayo Adeyi, or no, I'm James Madison, named Ayo Adeyi, who had played at North Texas 2 years ago and is really productive. So they continue to kill it via North Texas. I've seen some funny banter from some North Texas websites, but calling them North Texas, whatever part of the country it would be, north or south, or this is, cracking me up, man, because obviously, like you said, full line change, they're not really happy about it. Shifting gears really quick, West Virginia hasn't been as splashy as North Texas yet. I think West Virginia is playing this a little more quiet, a little closer to the vest. But if you look around, a bunch of Power 4 talent influxing in. Obviously, Michael Hawkins, I talked to you the other day. You know who he is. He comes into Morgantown along with his brother Malik from Oklahoma. And now you've got running back Cam Cook, who was an All-American in college football last year and led the country in rushing. So, and he was the TCU running back a couple years ago that had about 600 yards from them as a freshman, blew his knee out, had to go somewhere else. One of those type situations, finds himself in Jack State and just goes absolutely off from 1,700 yards, 16 touchdowns, another 30 balls in the air. What do you think about this Rich Rod rebuild, how it's beginning with an elite running quarterback and an elite running back?
Yeah, it seems very Rich Rod, I mean, it's my takeaway from that. Like that seems like a really good fit, and just flexing your connections there to go get the Jack State kid, because that's what I was going to say. When you're going to hold these classes up against each other, it's almost unfair to, like, Rich Rod's not a new coach coming in that can just bring most of the entire roster there, and it was a little bit different. I think the Jack State roster last year probably was not ready to be fully transported the way this North Texas roster was this year. So you're comparing apples to oranges here is one thing I would really stress with that. But I mean, Michael Hawkins makes a lot of sense, I feel like, for Rich Rod. Like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, it just clicked. I was like, oh yeah, I mean, that seems like a Rich Rod type of quarterback. He's going to want to utilize the athleticism. And I mean, look, I know it was a rough year at Oklahoma all the way around for everybody, but I mean, Jackson Arnold struggled just as much as Michael Hawkins did at OU. I think that was a bad situation with an offensive coordinator that gets canned in the middle of the season. Like, that was just not a conducive situation for anybody. And Hawkins, frankly, got thrown into the fire too early, I think, just because Oklahoma was desperate and they were trying to save their season. So I wouldn't judge him too harshly on that. Now, he's a kid who's gotten his feet wet in the SEC. I think just from what he is going to do, bring that elite level athleticism, that should harken back some really fond memories for West Virginia fans of quarterbacks in the past that Rich Rod has really thrived with. So I'm very intrigued by that. low key, I like a lot of the moves that some of these Big 12 teams are putting together at quarterback. I know it's been a tough year in terms of losing a lot of high profile quarterbacks, but I like this one. I also really like UCF bringing in the James Madison quarterback.
Love that kid.
Yeah.
Barnett. Yeah.
So I think there some Big 12 schools under the radar are doing some really nice things, even when, part of the issue is you're in the Big 12 where Texas Tech and then this year Oklahoma State, I mean, they're garnering most of the headlines just because of, Texas Tech, it's obvious that they're pulling in one of the best portal classes. And then Oklahoma State, it's such a unique situation.
Quick 30-second break. You got another 5 minutes to talk K-State stuff?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go to break really quick. Back with John Kurtz right after the break, guys. Stick around. And, of course, we can't go any further without talking about our friends at Rocket Money. And right now with Rocket Money, guys, let's be totally real here. Managing your finances can feel really overwhelming. Between subscriptions you forgot about, bills that keep piling up, and trying to figure out where all your money actually goes each month. It's easy to feel like you're losing control, and I understand that. But look, if you want to take that transaction down and hunt for those hidden fees, well, that's where Rocket Money comes in. Your personal finance app that helps you take back control. And it also finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower bills so you can grow your savings. And that's what we're all out to do. I actually really like how Rocket Money can track all my subscriptions. It lets me cancel them right in the app with just a few taps, right? So no more hunting down customer service numbers, no more searching around, fumbling around, paying extra dollars for this or that, paying for Netflix twice, whatever it is you've got. If you let Rocket Money help reach your financial goals faster, you can do so at rocketmoney.com/lockedon. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Back with friend of the show, John Kurtz. John, we've been doing this for a few years now, man, together. It's pretty wild when you look back and think about how long just the YouTube thing's been going on, going back to 2023 now. Pretty crazy, isn't it? You were one of my first guests, or one of my first guests. I think I maybe had 10 subscribers, so it's cool to see the growth out of both channels. And I would be remiss if I didn't let you plug OFB and some other things you got going on. If people don't know who you are, they should know. I think it's you and Drake Toll are the guys, like Big 12 centric.
I appreciate that for sure. Yeah. So Open for Business is my Big 12 podcast YouTube channel. Definitely check it out on YouTube, but you can find it wherever you get podcasts. Just search Open for Business with John Kurtz. So I do a couple of live streams a week, typically on Sunday, and then one during the middle of the week as well, like a Wednesday, Thursday. You'll get some clips. Occasionally you'll get some interviews there. Just giving you Big 12 perspective, man. When in a world where it's dominated by the SEC and Big 10, you're going to get college football news through the prism of the Big 12 and what matters there. And I also have the Open for Business Big 12 newsletter. You can go to ofbnews.com to subscribe to that. That's ofbnews.com. Comes to your inbox twice a week. It is totally free. You've got 5,600 plus Big 12 fans who are already subscribed, and I really enjoy doing that. So if you prefer getting your news just straight to the inbox, what you need to know that's going on in the league, condensed, easy format to read, that's the way to go. ofbnews.com for that.
I'm subscribed. I get it. It's good stuff. It's pretty easy. It does come right to your inbox. All right. So, we actually went public earlier. Want to throw a quick curveball at you. Voss is on West Virginia's campus today. Can you kind of tell West Virginia fans that if he were to commit to West Virginia, what did his season look like last year? Is he a kid that converted from defensive line and then played O-line, or how did that work for him?
Well, I was thinking he was always O-line, but I could be wrong on that. I just know he's a guy that had a nice into the season. He got an opportunity this year because a couple of really highly touted transfer portal additions from last year. I mean, frankly, one of which, JB Nelson from Penn State, was the one I was maybe most excited for that K-State pulled in the entire cycle. And then Amos Talalele, who was a USC transfer. So they pull in kids from USC and Penn State that struggled. They did not have a very good year. The offensive line in general didn't have a very good year. Obviously, everyone knows how K-State started the season, 1-3. And with that, it opened a door and an opportunity for him to get some playing time. And he did flash. I mean, he definitely flashed. That is somebody that, from a K-State perspective, I would have hoped would have stuck around. And it's forced. I mean, K-State's done a lot of work on the interior of the offensive line in the portal, or they're at least in the process of that right now. That's been one of the biggest areas of need for them. And a part of that is that they did lose Devin Voss. So he's a guy that I think has some real upside. I definitely think that's a kid who can be a Big 12 level starter for sure. And like I said, flashed, had nice moments in the back half of the season for K-State when suddenly he was playing a lot more football than he had previously.
Appreciate that. So what's up with K-State this offseason? I will lie to you. I'm going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. I have not been able to follow a single second of what you guys have got going on. So I would love to hear it.
Well, obviously coaching change with Colin Klein taking over as the head coach, Chris Kleiman retiring. I think that K-State fans had a lot of fear and nerves about what was going to happen with Colin Klein. And interesting, we're doing this for Locked On Oklahoma State. I mean, he reportedly was the runner-up for the Oklahoma State job to Eric Morris. K-State fans were really sweating that out, feeling like, hey, we're going to miss our guy. That could be the dude for a long time. You have a better chance to keep him if he's really successful, obviously, being that he is an alum. I think you look at this like best case scenario, you hope this is like a Kenny Dillingham type of hire.
Mm-hmm.
Young
I
guy,
like that. Yeah.
Similar age, understands what you need to do. Love that he went to Texas A&M for 2 years to learn how to run a program in the SEC where money is no object. I mean, he knows how it works at the highest of levels. So that's the pitch. I'm very excited about it. I love the staff that he's put together. They have a ton of experience on the defensive staff. They have 3 guys who have been at least co-coordinators before. So I think they're in pretty good hands. Jordan Peterson, their defensive coordinator, is a big-time up-and-comer who spent a lot of time in the Big 12. So I am pumped about what they've done staff-wise. Portal, I just got to be – I mean, it's so hard to tell, dude. Like, just like you were saying with, like, West Virginia, I mean, unless you're just a Texas Tech pulling in these guys that are just total top of the tree guys in the transfer portal, it's so hard to know exactly what's going on. I can tell you this, Trey Scott, who was hired as the GM, I think was an excellent hire and made K-State much more organized and ready to strike here when the portal began. Like, they have certainly had more of a plan than what K-State has had in the past, and I think that's been refreshing. Time will tell just how good the class actually is. The key thing, I mean, Avery Johnson's going to be back. Avery Johnson announced that he'll come back as quarterback. So
that's not as big as anything.
Yeah, you're not going to have to go spend big on a QB, and I think he's making a figure pretty similar to Mestamaker. If that gives you an idea, like what the market's like for a starting Big 12 quarterback. But they've got him back. Now they've lost a lot. Kind of the storyline for K-State has been, and I don't think any of this is really an indictment on Colin Klein. It was K-State had a lot of talent that underperformed last year, and those guys really loved Chris Kleiman. Like, Kleiman was a player's coach, and the second that he was gone, a lot of these guys are looking around like, well, I'm going to have some big offers. And I just don't think K-State had much of a chance to keep them. But, I mean, the big storyline is like K-State fans are like, how do we go 6-6 with Austin Romaine, Texas Tech, Chidi Obiizor, Indiana, Toby Osensami, Indiana, Jace Brown just committed to LSU. So, I mean, it's like you had a lot of really talented pieces that now are finding homes with, top 5, top 10 caliber programs out there across the country. So not gonna lie, there's a lot up in the air. I don't know exactly what to expect from this team. They're probably going to wind up with like 25, maybe more kids in the portal by the time it's all said and done. I mean, they're already up to double-digit commits of guys that they have now. So there's a lot to sort out, but that's kind of your in a nutshell view at what's gone on at K-State in the offseason.
I find it really interesting, man. It's like the league has turned on its head. You look around at Houston, they're getting a bunch of really good players.
Yeah.
Obviously, BYU and Oklahoma State now, and obviously Tech. But, you look at the model that Tech had last year, talking to Chris Level about it, they took 3 or 4 really elite Power 4 guys. But outside of that, it was a group of 5, pretty much the best of the best from the group of 5. That's what they brought in. You got your Baileys, your Romello Heights, a couple other guys. But for the most part, Chris was telling me, like, the meat and potatoes of that roster was G5 guys. Interestingly enough, just curious. It's just there's not enough data to know really how to build a roster in this area yet. I don't think
Yeah.
there's really no set way to do it yet. And maybe there are a few ways, just like any other recruiting, but it's going to be interesting what the norm ends up being and stuff in this. So I really appreciate you for being here, man. I know you've got to run. You were supposed to be up here at 7 my time, so I don't want to keep you any longer than that, man. But wishing you guys the best of luck down there and in K-State world, and we're doing okay over here in Morgantown world, and hopefully Stillwater world's doing okay too. As we continue to cover all these teams and enjoy doing it, but it's a whirlwind. It's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah. Dude, it's crazy, man. The portal, I don't know how the coaches do this, let alone if you're in the college football playoff right now. It's insane enough just trying to cover it. But yes, happy to be here. Thank you for having me on. Much love to Morgantown and Stillwater. When I was traveling around the league for 10 years, two of my absolute favorite places to go. So hope everybody enjoys the rest of portal season. Take care.
Thanks, John. I'm going to go ahead and do another segment really quick, brother, but I'll holler at you at another time.
Okay.
We'll get together here this coming next couple months or something.
Yeah, sounds great.
Later, brother.
See ya.
Guys, make sure you follow John at OFB, Open for Business. He does a great job over there. One of my favorite voices in the sport. As you can see, he's gifted in the voice department. He's got a really just that perfect timbre to do this for a living. So he's been blessed in that regard, which is why his channel is successful as well. We'll go to break real quick and put a little final thoughts on this K-State versus West Virginia thing. It's really not a versus. We're just talking about both. All right, we're back. We didn't have another read today, so quick breaking news. Found out right before we came on. Marion Horn commits to Oklahoma State, the corner from Texas Tech. It's a pretty big pickup. I think he played in every game there last year. Interesting pickup for sure. Don't know exactly what the impact is. I watched his tape yesterday. I think he's a guy that can be definitely in the rotation, potentially a little more. Maybe he's coming in to be a starter. But he's certainly got potential. And, to get on the field with the roster they had last year, the defense they had last year, you've got to have talent. So that is a big pickup for Oklahoma State. I'll probably do a little bit deeper dive now that he's committed whenever the next round of news comes around, because, listen, every single day that I turn around there's like 15 or 16 new things to cover, right? So at the end of the day, it's like I wouldn't be surprised if I have to, as soon as I'm done with this video, I wouldn't be shocked if there's another commitment of some large degree that I would have to do. And then not only that, West Virginia plays basketball. Is it right now? Let me look and see. Actually, West Virginia might be on right now. I might have to go right now. Let's see. It may be right now. Looks like it's now. Got to run, guys. West Virginia versus Cincinnati's on. So sorry, just getting caught up in all this. We will talk to you on the next one here on Locked on West Virginia and Locked on Oklahoma State. Until then, we're out.